Hey guys, it's Lori here at Voice in the Dark, spiritscrossing.net. And, it's 4th of July, and, all the fireworks are over now. And I was just sitting here in the quiet and reflecting on what is it we consider freedom and what is democracy. If we could forget that we're Republicans and Democrats for, say a few months, and just remember that we are a democracy and that we have to look for checks and balances, that everyone is being taken care of in some format, and that we aren't leaving anyone out. That it's one of the greatest and most difficult systems to keep in place without tyranny taking over. And when the Constitution was originally written, I admire the men that wrote it a lot because they wrote it in the simplest terms so that any human, any man woman could understand it. And that in itself was a great task. And I think of the fireworks that we like to have, and the partying, and the beers and the whiskey and the barbecue, and how we like to celebrate our freedom. And we like to celebrate it loudly. There's nothing wrong with that. But one day a year to celebrate our freedom and to leave 364 days a year to the utter craziness that we're seeing in our world right now, and especially our own government, and to just let that ride, I think is a wake-up call for the people of the United States. A wake-up call to say, hey, forget about the memes and the dogma and the propaganda. Go back to being neighbors and people of respect. People who respect each other because we are different, and that this country was built on the foundation of protecting those differences so that we may have them. So we have no right to stomp on someone else's rights. We have no right to want to leave people out. We have no right to divide, because once we divide, we're done. Don't you understand? There won't be any more celebrations, or maybe there will be, but they'll be weak because it won't be the same. I say every day you should celebrate your freedom by being at least 1% more involved every day. Whether it's with the smaller political houses, smaller government, and work your way up, but get to know your government, get to know what's really going on. Demand from those that are running for office, demand that we want to hear real issues, not the bullshit. Stop hanging division and ugliness over our heads as if that's the only thing that's going on when it's not. Demand that we understand the budget and we talk about it, because it's meant to be split up in sections so that it was comparable for all of us to have a piece of. That's what we work for. And start getting to the truth of what's been going on. Our country's been slightly being taken over in the last 50 years, and it's not pretty. And right now it's a joke. And it's showing our worst sides the way we react and the way we are triggered and the way we are controlled, actually, like minions in a caveman era. It's shocking to a lot of us who don't see it that way. So that when they try to move us towards anger and hate of another person, another race, and you gotta stop saying race, another culture. There's only one race, and it's human. And we're all different. We're beautifully different. We embrace our cultures. Do you know why they move here? Why we all moved here, our relatives? Because we wanted religious freedom. We wanted freedom to speak. We wanted freedom of choice. To be able to vote. You don't have that in other countries. You want to go back? When they kept talking about having this reset that they're wanting to have, global reset, that means that they want to destroy the United States and make it a third world, multiple country. Split it up into 6 countries. They've got maps. We have to stay together. This is our country. We have to love it, and we have to care. Get your noses out of the phones and out of the digital arena more than half the day. Unplug them, unplug your computer at home. You don't want those airwaves around your head all the time. That's the zombies. That's how they're creating zombies that are ignoring what's going on in the world and what's going on in our own country. I'm just an everyday person who cares deeply about freedom. Do you know what I care the most about? Because I'm getting older now. I like running water. I like toilets. I like indoor plumbing. Do you know that most countries don't even have that? The people don't. The bulk of the humans on the earth do not have that. Which is something we should fight for. Not for oil and getting oil. Okay, I don't want to lose my emotions at this point because it doesn't help. But I'm human, and I see the absurdities that are going on and how we're reacting to it. And falling for it, falling for the farce that it all is. And there's a lot of liars out there and bad people that have taken over the new spirituality and the new age movement and the ascension and everything. And because they want to control that too. Stand up and fight for what's right all over the world. We are at the precipice of making a statement to the whole universe. And it's up to us to say, hey, we prefer love and peace. You can still make money, but we prefer love and peace. And we demand it. Because you see, one thing the elite won't tell you, the owners of the world, the rulers of the world, won't tell you, is that in the initial accord that was created for the humans, for them to create a human form, a form for us to exist in, so that we might remember who we were. We got kind of stuck on this planet, playing in it, because we were just little golden light balls of energy, but we had consciousness, so we lived in things, and kind of forgot who we were and got stuck here. The agreement was, and it was stated very clearly, that the humans would have a right to say whatever the rulers wanted to do, and we had a right to say yay or nay. So, I do not consent to what's going on in the world right now. And the humans have a right. So you got to remember that. You have rights. You have rights that go far beyond what you're given. And that's for the whole world. The human rights that were brought up and defined by the United Nations, by Eleanor Roosevelt of all people, she spearheaded it, is beautiful. But it's supposed to be for all the people, not just the people of the United States or maybe the United Kingdom and maybe Australia. All people. Read it. Get a copy of it and read it. And from this day until next July 4th, find in your heart where you truly believe freedom is. Is it yelling about somebody being transgender? Is it? Those are topics that can be dealt with quietly and later. If they want rights, they want rights. Give them the rights. They just want to be noted as how they feel about themselves. Just like everybody else. Give it to them. Knock it off. Knock off the stupid stuff we're doing. The stupid shit we're fighting about. Just think. What is freedom to you? Freedom to live in this little piece of, heaven that you created for yourself. That's how I look at my piece of property. I don't want to have to look like every neighborhood piece of property because I don't fit in a box. I'm more of a naturalist. So that's what I bought the property for. So I could live like me. Appreciate the next neighbor. Appreciate the next one. Isn't that what we consider freedom? We're not meant to be in boxes. We are meant to be unique individuals, and we cannot continue being unique individuals if we allow ourselves to be herded like cattle into an era of, That's how I see it. Now, do I believe in the New Age movement that says you can create your own reality? Absolutely. And I think that we should all get a vision of what we think that would be. I'm working on a book, and I've listed what I consider the soul's 10 obligations to itself, and 10 new laws that the whole universe could run on and never have a problem. And I think that we all need to think about this. Where do we want to be a year from now? Do we want to be able to still have running water and lights and good food on our table and grow our own food if we have to? Be part of the decision making of the world? Or do we want to be like ostriches and bury our heads until, hopefully it'll all work out. Otherwise, it just is what it is. Ascension's very real, and it's beautiful. Enlightenment is very beautiful. And yet I can't help but think, how much richer could it be if just for once we did it all different? Nicer, kinder, encouraging instead of suppressing. To see who rose to the top and did what and does what. God didn't make you unique so that you could pretend to be something you're not. So stop pretending. Find out what you really feel on the inside. Let go of the anger and the division. Find compassion and camaraderie again. Because when it's all said and done, you knock all the bullshit out of the air. It's just us humans here wanting to live and experience life. Souls having a human experience. So God wouldn't have made us all different if he meant for us to all of a sudden become like, all in boxes, the same. No. Let's get our creativity going again. Let's become the greatest aspect of ourselves, individuals encouraging other individuals and looking out for the greater good of all. Democracy is the greatest way to govern, period. Any world, any government. It's also the most difficult, and it has to have watchdogs. It has to have, we can't just get comfortable and not pay attention. And we can't be afraid to stand up and make noise with each other. We're the majority here. We're the 98%. That's a big percentage. So I would say stand up, fight back, not in a violent way. You don't have to be violent. You just have to speak. Speak up. Write a letter to your congressman. Just start making demands that they have to adhere to. Go to the town meetings. Speak up. But leave the stupid crap that they keep bringing up that, they throw in our face every day. That is not what's really going on behind closed doors. They don't want us to see it, but we need to stop with the propaganda and demand real conversations again from the people we want to elect. And if that's the greatest thing we can do, then that's what we can do. But let's do what we can do and unplug from the digital reality half the day. It'll be beneficial to your mind and your connection to Source, God, Goddess, all it is, that which is greater than you, greater than all of us, but we're all an integral piece of that. And I think it's time we found that out and found out just how beautiful that can be and how beautiful our world can be. You don't have to fight with gloves on. But your mouth, that's where your power is. Talk. Talk loudly, but not overly loud. Don't yell and scream. I know I've gotten a little emotional this evening, but I try to keep it calm. And but it's something that I just feel so deeply about. I love our freedoms, but if you haven't traveled the world, get on the internet and start looking how they live. They talked about this just Sarah, that they were going to bring the what do they call it? The reset, so that everyone would be brought up to the same. Well, what they're talking about is they got pharaohs. They're going to set up pharaohs again, and we're the slaves. That's what they're talking about, a reset. They're making every country a third world country because they can't compete with everyone. Because we have higher standards for our people. And now I hear that one state has reinstated child labor approved again. We can't even get our kids to go and work in the fields. That's why we bring in migrant workers. It used to be our high school kids went and worked farms when it was time to harvest. Now we have to bring in migrants because we don't even send our kids to the farms. So why would we send them to work in a factory? A lot of this is happening to stir us up and make us negative. I say we just look at them and think, you're nuts, and start getting involved. That's the only way we're going to get things changed. and stay positive. Make a really strong image in your mind of what kind of world it would be that you would really love to see. I would love to see children laughing and singing and hollering and screaming outside, and having fun again. And that the neighborhoods was safe. And I'd like to see where the dogs could run free again, and we don't have, animals that are going to come in and try to crush and kill them. We shouldn't be making our animals violent. Anyway, I mean, there's a plethora of things I could go through, and I probably will over time. But I wanted everyone to think this night and every day the rest of this year what you really believe freedom is, what it looks like, and what is it really for you. And if you got comments, leave them in my comment section. I know that we are enough as we are, and that we have a creative force in us that's so much bigger than the rest. And we just need to tap into it and let it guide us. But I think this is the time. This is the time to tap in to your inner God. That part of your soul that is attached to God, to Source, the super consciousness. Tap into it. And use the white light. Make sure that you're on the good side, because there's two sides. There always is. It has to be in the universe. So pick a side. I picked the white light and the good because I want more fulfillment than I want material items, more than I want material recognition. I like fulfillment of the heart. So, that's our 4th of July this year, 2023. I did a video last year too. And I just think it's time that we tap into our own resources, natural resources with Source, the super consciousness, and bring the healing that the earth needs and requires. You can talk to her. She's a sentient life form. Talk to the aliens if you want. You can talk to anybody. You can talk to the angels, your spirit guides, your ancestors. Let's get real about what we are. And that's unlimited beings. There are no limitations there. There's always enough. And this universe that we're living in right now, especially here on Earth, this has been designed to give us what we want. You just have to really want it. So you have to think about the things you want, not the things you don't want. So don't let them trigger you and get you all negative and crap and yelling and screaming at each other and hating each other. That's what they want, because that keeps you down here. What you want to do is go, turn it off. Turn it off and go straight to Source and say, hey, I want something better. I want something better than that. This is the way I see it, and this is what I'm going to focus on, because I was told that you, Source, and this matrix has to give it to me. If I am good thinking, I get good thinking back. And I have to believe it and feel it. So get busy believing it and feeling it. That's the greatest secret I can give to the world right now. And well, I just hope you all follow through. I'd like to see what it would be like to be compassionate and empathy and support and positiveness, and Let's teach our kids how to fight when they're little, some kind of martial art or something, so that they're able to defend themselves and also understand discipline and calm. And teach them to meditate when they're young. Let's get them going early. Let's get ourselves going, by the way, in all these things. And let's be a world of peaceful warriors, centered and balanced and creative. And anyway, that's what I sense. That's how I see freedom. That and I love running water and toilets. If you've been in other countries, you don't know what I mean. So, yeah. Let's not let them take and take and take. For once, let us decide to take and change and grow and create. Because we can. You just got to believe it. Jesus and all the other masters that came here did not lie to you. You are capable of being and doing everything that they did and more. There's more. So allow yourself some healing from your shame and guilt and anger and fears. And then dare, just dare to start changing negative into positive. Change your perspective on things. Change you. And the world will change. I guarantee. And it'll be so worth it. Especially to see the faces, of everybody that has to conform with it. I do have a little bit of a shit in me, smart ass. But that's okay too. So, happy 4th. Happy celebration of freedom. Let's make sure that we always have it and we don't lose it. Good night from Lori. 4th of July, 2023.